I'm Jack, and this is my review of the 2015 Porsche Panamera GTS. So this is a 4.8 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine with a dual clutch 7-speed transmission, producing 440 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque, for a 0 to 60 of 4.2 seconds and a top speed of 179. So I took this car on a road trip my brother and I took to eastern Tennessee as we went to the Tail of the Dragon and the Cherhola Skyway. And overall, I was very pleased with the car. I just rented the car. I wanted a kind of a more unique car that I could drive on these great roads, and I think it definitely fit that. I think it didn't do as well on the Tail of the Dragon. I think that road is kind of more suited for a Porsche Panamera or maybe a Lotus, something smaller, tighter, and that can handle the turns a little bit better. But on the Cherhola Skyway, that's kind of more suited for a GTS car, I think it did great. I think that's where you can really open it up and feel the power on these turns and still really enjoy kind of the cruise all the way through as well. Starting with the exterior, I really like the look of the oversized 911 front with the hatchback rear end. I think the exterior of the Panamera can be pretty decisive sometimes, especially with that hatchback, but I really do like it. Right in the middle of the trunk hatch, there's actually a deployable spoiler as well. Overall, I really do just like this color scheme as well, with the red exterior and black rims. Now moving to the interior, first off, you have a key that slots into the left of the wheel, synonymous with Porsche, and you enter a console with a ton of buttons, which I really appreciate. I think far too often modern cars have a one-screen-fits-all solution, where they have one screen for everything, but thankfully this car doesn't. In the GTS, you also just get an upgraded interior, with an upgraded Alcantara headliner and upgraded seats with special stitching as well. As we move to the back seat, I was pleasantly surprised here as well. I'm about 6'1", and I definitely felt very comfortably in the back seat. There's no center seat, but it has a nice center console in its place. Lastly, the trunk is actually very spacious, especially for a sportier four-door like this. The trunk size is great. So now let's go through my scoring. First off, exterior, 7. I really think this car looks pretty great. I really do like kind of the oversized 911 front with the hatchback exterior. I think Porsches just always look great. It's kind of a timeless design, and I think it still looks great here. So it's got a 7. Moving to interior, I'll give it an 8. This is definitely one of my higher scores for interiors. I really think it felt premium. I really liked all the buttons. It had great room in the back seat, and it just overall felt practical. For performance, I'm going to give it a 7. And as always with performance, this is never in a vacuum. I'm never comparing this car to every car ever, but rather I'm comparing this car to what it is, which in this case is a 4-door sedan. As far as 4-door sedans go, I think this felt great. It felt very strong, fast, and quick, but it didn't feel as quick as some other cars I've reviewed like this, and I'll mention that a little bit more in my feel section. So for value, I give it a 6, but I think this is a little bit of a double-edged sword. I think you could pick one up for about $35,000, depending on the mileage, and I think for that price, the type of car you're getting is great. I think it's a Porsche, it's incredibly fast, great premium product, but I think maintenance could be an issue later. I think as you get higher up in mileage on these premium cars, it can definitely become a serious part of the carrying cost here. Lastly, for feel, I'm going to give it a 5. So comparing this to the BMW M3 competition that I drove probably about a year ago in DC, it felt just slower, bigger, and more sluggish. And to be fair, I think the M3 is just a slightly smaller car, but to me the Porsche Panamera GTS, it felt like a large, big 4-door. At times it felt unwieldy, not great on turns, and it had great power, but it just felt like a big sedan. On the other hand, the BMW M3 competition, while it is slightly smaller, really felt like a sports car. It felt like a kind of sports car in disguise. You look at it and you see this 4-door and think it's going to be just a slug, but instead it's a sports car kind of in disguise. So I would say that's kind of my main reason for the feel. I think overall this is kind of a sour note to end on, but I think it's a great car. I really enjoyed driving it, but for feel, it just wasn't really there. It felt like a 4-door sedan, whereas that M3 competition really felt like a wolf in sheep's clothes, really. So still a great car here, but definitely not as great of a car, I think, in terms of feel as that M3 competition. So overall, that's a score of 33 out of 50. Definitely not the best score, not the worst, kind of somewhere in the middle. If you like these reviews, make sure to subscribe. I also have full videos of the Cherhola Skyway and the Tail of the Dragon of me driving through in these with no commentary. So if you like the no commentary and you want to see the Tail of the Dragon and the Cherhola Skyway, make sure to check those out. I'll put those in the description, and I'll see you next time.